everybody. I'm Jesse, and welcome to another edition of Gen X Thinks. And today we're going to talk about whether or not the great American experiment is a failure. And I'd like to start this off by saying I'm a patriot, and I've always believed wholeheartedly in America. America, just like a lot of people, most people, my generation and older, we all believe that America was the greatest country on the planet, and it was, and it is still in a lot of ways. But the more I pay attention in my older age and the more I look at things, it's not going to stay that way very much longer. For those of you who don't know, the American experiment was the experiment of people governing themselves, basically. We were that experiment. Could people govern themselves without a king or a dictator or some kind of ruler over us? Could we just govern ourselves? And it's really looking like that's not going to work. That's not going to pan out in the end. And the end doesn't look like it's very far away, in my opinion. Why, though? Why is it failing? What's gone wrong? Now, I don't believe that it's anything intrinsically wrong with the system that our founding fathers put in place. There's nothing wrong with that. We could have gone on and continued with that the entire time. And we'd probably be better off. And not even probably. We'd definitely be better off as a society, as a nation. But we veered away from that. We veered far away from that. And the powers that be keep that whole Constitution line of dialogue in play for us to feel good about it and shit, but that's pretty much dead. They just do what they want. They'll throw an amendment on it to erase whatever they want. They'll go around it. They'll circumvent it, whatever. They'll just do whatever they want. So it's just a piece of paper. The power is with the people. Americans trust this Constitution like it's going to protect us. We're supposed to be protecting it. That is where we have it reversed. That is the core of the problem. But I say we like it's us living today, but it started 100 years ago, if not further back. We were just born into this. Now, back when that privately owned federal bank, the Federal Reserve, was installed into our government, and an income tax was started, people should have raised hell. They should have not accepted it. They should have thrown that thing back. They should have thrown the Federal Reserve the hell out of our country and not accepted an income tax. But they did. And each succeeding generation afterward, they raised the income tax, and it's just a slight inconvenience. It's a bitch, but, I'm not going to go, sitting on the Capitol lawn with a flag and protesting it. I got to go to work tomorrow. And that's what's got us here, where we are today. So I'm not blaming us. I'm not saying we did it. I'm saying we as Americans for the last 200 years have done it. Now, I don't know how far back it goes, because I've heard stuff about things that were happening during the Civil War and even before that. I do know that they tried to install that Federal Reserve Bank several times before 1913, but the people wouldn't have it. And the government, which was the people, wouldn't have it. Even when they did get it in for a short time, they would kick it back out. But now it's basically a hidden thing, and I didn't even realize that it was privately owned until I was probably in my 40s. I didn't even realize that I just thought it was a government thing, a branch of the government, just like the Pentagon or something. Now all of this is inspired by money. It's all controlled by money and lies. How can you elect someone when they're just lying? How do you know who you're electing? when they'll just get up there and bald-faced lie. Even if we think we're electing the right person, we might not be. How does somebody get a senator in there from their district or whatever and send a senator up there that they know is going to do a good job and represent them and what they believe and in their best interests? It's difficult nowadays because even if they are telling the truth, once they get up there and they're bribed and lied about and destroyed or whatever, you don't know what's going to happen when they get up there, even if they are a decent person. And if you think that the American experiment was a success, I would have to ask you, do you feel like you are governing yourself with your property taxes and just income tax, sales tax, all these taxes, all these regulations about what you can do on your property, what you can't do, all these regulations about your car, your vehicle, damn near everything you own, regulations and laws inhibiting everything you do. You've literally got to be worried about what you say online because your comments will get deleted, your account will get banned. Are we governing ourselves? If we're not in control, that means someone else is. And that means that the great American experiment has failed. We're not a constitutional republic anymore. We're not a democracy. We're not any of these key hot topic words that the lying politicians like to throw around and keep us feeling free. They like to keep us believing we're free, but the fact is we're not. And we're losing more and more freedom every day. And more money. Your property, your money should be your own. You should be free to do just about anything you wanted as long as it wasn't harming another person or taking away their freedoms. The only laws I really agree with, the laws that don't have any victims, victimless crimes, that I agree with, are to protect things like children and animals because they can't consent. They can't protect themselves. So somebody's got to protect them from their stupid ass parents. But there's a line to be drawn there as well. But that's definitely something to consider, something to think about. We are supposed to be governing ourselves. We're supposed to be electing the best of us to go up and serve short terms in the government to keep our nation running smoothly. And short terms are important because those people know that they're going to be returning to the civilian world, the regular world. So if they screw all that over and raise all these taxes, then they know in 8 years they're going to be paying those high taxes. So they're not going to want to do that. They're not going to want to screw over the normal people when they are going to be the normal people real soon. So sitting up there for 50, 60 years, getting elected when you're 25 and just staying there till you die at 80, to me, that's completely ridiculous because then they feel secure and they can just pass any law they want. It don't affect me. I just make myself immune to it. That's who's governing us. And there's no doubt about it. There's no argument there. There's no debate. The people governing us aren't a part of us. They're not in it with us. They're above. They get to sit up there for their entire lives and not do a single bit of physical labor. The hardest thing they have to do is sign their name or maybe lift a glass of wine. And now these people, we've got an upcoming election, and we all know what happened during the last election year. We all remember that. So there's no telling what's going to happen if the government doesn't win. I don't go into this Democrat and Republican shit because they don't care about that. That's nothing to them. It means nothing. That's just a tool they use to divide us and keep us stirred up like ants. It's just the stick they use to stir the anthill. If the outcast ends up winning, there's no telling what'll happen. That kind of scares me because what are we supposed to do? Take it on the chin and keep going down the same road? just like we did last time. We all know what happened last time. That old man didn't win. But I got to go to work. I got to pay my bills. I'll be homeless. It's a tough spot to be in. And it's a spot, I believe we're in this spot by design. This economy is geared toward keeping us, living hand to mouth, paycheck to paycheck. So we don't have time to go out and implement good changes and help each other and do all these things and build bridges, and become one unit. If we're all just busy working and paying bills, then we can't learn about each other. We can't become one. We can't ask questions. We don't have time or energy to do any of this stuff. And I believe that that's why they don't fix the economy, because the economy can be fixed easily. They could fix this shit. There's so much stuff that they could just fix, and they don't. And if you're still not convinced that the American experiment is a failure, think about from the time our country was founded all the way up till the beginning of the 20th century. Okay? From the time our country was founded, we fought several wars on our home turf to protect America. The Revolutionary War, the Mexican War, I believe. We fought a war against Mexico. We fought a civil war. All of them on our home turf. Then the 20th century rolls around and we start sending troops overseas. There's been no reason to fight a war since the year 1900. Not one single reason. Now you can debate about World War II, whether or not we should have gotten into that. Back then, I know that it was an unpopular with the people. The people didn't want to get into it. But then Pearl Harbor happened, and then that changed everybody's minds. So I can't say how I would have felt back then. I would probably be of a mind to stay out of it as well back then, but I can't say for sure. But let's just say that we needed to go over in World War II and get involved in that and help, because that was a great thing to end that Nazi thing and save the world. Even so, we've had World War I, Vietnam, Korean War, all this stuff in the Middle East. That's so confusing, we don't even know. So we've been fighting and dying overseas since 1900, and we haven't gotten any more free. We've become less free and less prosperous, paid more taxes, paid rising prices for normal goods, while the people in the government get just rich after 2 or 3 years of doing nothing. A couple of those things I keep seeing on there, like that AOC or whatever. She was a bartender, been in office for 4 or 5 years now. She's worth however many millions of dollars and her salary's like $144,000 a year, but she's worth millions now. All taxpayer money, but we're okay with that. And it's all right. Well, we'll just have to see what kicks off during and after this election. See what state the country's in after this. I don't know what it's going to be like, but I'm pretty sure it's going to be different. And I'll leave you there with that. If you enjoyed this video, please like, subscribe, and comment. If you'd like to become a member, I'll leave that link down in the description, or you can head over to the channel page and become a member that way. If you'd like to support the channel, you can do so by clicking on that super thanks button down there. Or you can head over to Buy Me a Cup of Coffee and buy me a cup of coffee. I'll put that link down in the description. If you're interested in Gen X gear, you can hop over to Redbubble and check that stuff out. We've got some cool stuff over there. T-shirts, coffee mugs, stickers, all kinds of cool stuff. Gen X and Gen X Things branded stuff. And I believe they're having a 25% off sale right now. And I'll put that link down in the description too. If you can't or don't want to support the channel in any of those ways, you can always do so by sharing these videos on your social media. I appreciate that. That really helps out. Thank you very much. If you have any ideas for future episodes of Gen X Thinks, please put those down in the comments, or you can email us, and the email is over on the channel page. And as always, stay frosty, Gen X, and I'll see you on the next one.